And we're live. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. Glad that you are here. We have a great show lined up. We have Josh Boden with us tonight from Nebraska PPG. We're going to have an awesome show. Stay tuned. We're going to be giving some stuff away right around the half-hour mark. But don't just log in at the half an hour mark. We're going to talk about all things paragliding and some motoring talk tonight. We are going to get into some safety stuff. Obviously, we've got some reasons to be safer pilots because we don't want to get hurt. I want to mention just a couple sponsors. PPG Smoke is one of the sponsors. PPGsmoke.com is the website. Go check them out. Also, paramotorprops.com. You're going to want to go check out their website in case you pop a prop, blow one up. Paramotorprops.com is the website. Get a really good deal there. Mention Paragliding Talk when you buy your stuff, and they'll give you this really good discount. I'm just kidding. You won't get a discount. I mean, you could try, I guess. I like to try and ask for discounts anywhere I go. I'll be like at Home Depot. Can I get 10% off? I'll be like, are you military? No. But I know you can give me 10% off. Can you do it or no? Let me talk to your manager, especially on those big orders. Also, I want to mention American Allied Drains and Plumbing. They're a sponsor of the show. They're right here locally in San Diego. If you have a plumbing issue, you can call them at 844-777-9055, and they will take care of your plumbing needs. Now, if you mention Paragliding Talk to them, you will get a 10% discount, and that could be substantial. I have to mention another very important sponsor. That's Nebraska PPG. The school's probably starting soon.
Yes.
What was that, Gringo?
No, I was saying and you just mentioned it, and that's all.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody, and I gotta agree. Somebody's saying, Mark Rogers saying, audio. Your audio has a little bit of a gurgle to it too. So.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's see. I'm going to go to my audio settings.
And it kind of speeds up.
Microphone. Choose.
Rip is always picking on my audio, but it's because I don't lean
external
mic.
Yeti. I'm using that. Let's test the microphone.
Talk to the mic.
Okay, I can hear that. That's fine. I appreciate that. Does it sound bad to you guys?
No, sounds good to me.
I heard a little bit of almost like a underwater gurgle, and it kind of sped up a couple times.
Oh, it might be slow internet.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, anyway. Well, I'm connected to the right things. That's good. Josh Boden just came back from a pretty big adventure flying vacation, and I thought it would be fitting that we'd have him on the show to talk about some of the pros and cons of taking your gear across state. Did you, now wait a second, did you take your Winnebago with you, or did you leave it somewhere and fly over there?
No, we flew. It was just free flight. No paramotor.
Oh, okay. And did you drive your Winnebago all the way back home, then take off and do a flying vacation?
From Salton?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got back on Monday or Tuesday and left the following Wednesday.
My word.
Yeah. So just over 2 weeks down in the desert, a week at home, and then 22 days on the road in Brazil.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, okay, now the first question I have is when you bring your gear with you overseas, do they give you a hard time?
It was just the gliders, so no.
Just treat it like regular baggage. Do you do anything special to pack it up?
We folded it down into the tight, the real tight bags. Like when you get them from the factory.
Okay, yeah. So when you get overseas, I've never flown overseas already, so this is all just I at some point I do want to tell me about what is there extra charge, and is there issues with like the weight and all that? I know that I guess I could look this stuff up online.
Well, Scott and Steve, we had it all planned out. Scott had a bag that was exactly 50 pounds, and I mean, it was teetering right there. But when you're bringing instruments and multiple gliders, harnesses, clothes, helmets, it has to be, you're working at it to try and keep everything small. Had I known the actual climate, I would have brought a lot less. And the clothes I would have brought would be, easy to wash in a shower, because a lot of these places there's no washer dryer.
Oh, are you serious? So where were you washing your clothes? You just go down to the river?
Well, when I took a shower, I just washed my clothes while I was in there, and then just hang them up. So I found that the shirts, like the ones that you have on, or the dry fit shirts, those are the easiest because you can clean them and they dry super fast.
Right.
You
You like this shirt, by the way?
that's
Sis?
all right.
You know it's got my name on the back?
I do know that.
Look at that.
Rubbing it in.
And we've had that conversation about the flag on the side, like
Yeah.
so many times.
But I was thinking about it before the show that actually when I'm shooting and I'm backing, sometimes
Yes.
the flag might do that. So it's
Right.
fine.
Right. Yeah. I had this discussion with Todd about being on the right because that's the side of honor. But military people were the ones that wear it facing forward. And back and forth before I made the decision, I should have just hung it from the top down. Then there would have been no issues. But since then I've seen it on both sides, facing every direction. Now it's on the Escalades and everything like that.
Yeah. It's okay. We're here to help. I have to agree with Todd.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's backwards.
Yeah. I'll make a whole new batch just to make it right. And then you can burn the other ones.
Yeah. I know that's one of those things. I got the Blossom one, and they called me up and they were like, "Hey, do you want to be a sponsor? And you're going to get a flying shirt and $70." And I'm like, "All right, yeah, I want one." Blossom jersey. Have you seen that? My Blossom jersey? Well, anyways,
I think so.
it's got Paragliding Talk on the shoulder,
Yeah.
and it's so tiny. It's like,
Ah.
bro, you need to blow that up, man.
Right.
Make that a little bigger on there. But yeah.
But back to getting the gear over there, it was fine. It was no big deal, Other
I
than
have heard some nightmares.
really,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, Brazil, they didn't care, but I would assume, there's competitions there every freaking weekend all over the place. So I think they deal with that pretty often.
Was Brazil? I vaguely remember. Oh no, that was Colombia. They had like cartel, just cartel chaos. Basically, the cartel showed up. There's a road that goes up to the launch. It's a huge flying. I want to say it's it's like the World's Cup or something like that. It's something big.
That was this last weekend in Baixagandu, where we were at our last stop.
Okay. Yeah, and so this was last year or the year before. I guess they're starting to cruise up the hill, and there's like just random dudes standing there with assault rifles.
Oh,
And they're like checking people, and they didn't kill any pilots or anything, but they were just basically, I think they were shaking them down, and they were telling them and they weren't trying to get money directly from the pilots, but they were trying to get money from the organization to say, we're letting you go up this road, basically.
right.
And so that went on for a few days. But anyways, pretty crazy. So you get your gear, your how much pre-planning are you guys doing, like where you're going to be flying, and how many days ahead of time are you looking at, like weather and all that? Take us through
Well,
what's going on.
luckily the guys and girls that had the whole event organized, Raphael Wagi down there, he does these tours. It's part of his business. He's got a school down there, and he does a lot of free flight and does paramotor. He's the BGD importer down in Brazil. So they had all the sites picked out. So in Valadares, they want to make it like as big as maybe like a Coupe Care.
Oh, cool.
So it was great. It was awesome. You took off from the ramp and you landed in this field that was at the fairgrounds, and big stage, music going on, tons of people watching. I don't know how many pilots there were, but there was a lot, and yeah, it was just like a big carnival. And I guess it was actually the week of carnival. Yeah. So, but
Which
they planned out everything, and the weather was awesome the entire time. It was flyable every single day.
Who asked that? Nick Griffith asked, what wing did you fly the whole
I
time?
flew a BGD Echo.
Echo. And is that a B?
It's a B. It's the light Epic.
Oh, dang. Yankee Paramotor said my wife stole my Nebraska shirt and won't give it back.
I know where to get those.
Brutal.
Yeah, I know where to get those.
You have to make a women's version.
Yeah. But yeah, we flew Governor Valadares. There was a competition. Then we flew, we went up to Costello. There was a competition there. Then we went to Baishu Gandu. There was no competition there, so we had the ramp to ourselves. And then one day we went up to Poncas. And all these sites are freaking amazing. Like,
Talk us.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned just before that the first launch was like 8 steps and then you're on a cliff and that's it, game over if you fail.
Right, sure. And we saw people go in the trees and they had rescuers with ropes and yeah, it was like, oh, no big deal. Let's just go get them out of the tree.
Who is going in the trees?
People that didn't launch very well. So yeah, it was my very first time ever free flying, right? I'm a paramotor guy. I never really thought, free flight's not for me. Who gives it, But the trip came about, the opportunity was there. And we went up to the mountain and the day before and looked at it and like, okay. And I'm laid out, wings here. And I'm here and I'm like 8 feet away from like where I have to get off the ground. And it worked. I launched with a cravat and dealt with that, got that taken care of. And I just pretty much the entire like hour or two planning what I was going to do, where I was going to land, where I was going to go here, how I was going to find a thermal. Cause that's not I squeeze the gas to go up typically. And then so everything that I thought that was going to happen just left my brain. And I started
going down.
And I just sled ride and I'm like, well, I gotta be able to find something. This can't be that hard. And I had left my Vario at the hotel. So I was like, I'm going to know if I'm going up or down. Right.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation and the importance of that noise it's hugely important.
It helps for sure.
Yeah. And there wasn't many people around that I could go chase or whatever, but I ended up landing down at one of the LZs and it was fine. Second day I took off.
Your first flight was just a launch and a straight to the bottom?
Yeah, about a 15-minute sled ride.
No thermal, not even a bump.
I hit a couple, yeah. And as a evening paramotor pilot, I was wet in the pants. Like, I'm like,
He just flew right through them.
Oh, man.
I remember doing an SIV with Santa Croce, and he's like, make sure you just cross your ankles and put them underneath your butt and just keep your, be here and be loose. And I'm like starfishing. My feet are coming out in front of me. I'm thinking I'm going to fall out of the harness. I'm laughing at myself because I'm scared. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm just taking a sledder down to this area. And then I couldn't figure out where the area was. And I found it. And I was about a quarter mile shy. Ended up landing in some dude's yard, which was fine. The next day went great.
Wait, hold on. What did the guy say? Did somebody come out?
No.
No one came out. And what?
He was riding his horse.
You're speaking Spanish?
Portuguese.
So they're telling you stuff and you don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, you just smile and wave. That's all
they know, but they're at the bottom of a launch, so they know what's up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That guy that lives there is probably used to it. So he's probably got a special care package for those newbies,
Justin Schoen said, knowing Josh, even if he remembered the variable, the batteries were likely dead.
Well, it had a solar panel on it, and I had it charged.
Yeah.
So from that day on, I was good. And I couldn't, the second day that I went up, that beep was, all the difference. I knew when I was getting out of it, even though I felt like maybe I was still going up, and how to carve back into it, not how to carve back into it, because I still don't understand any of that. But, by the end of the trip, I was figuring out pretty good. The second day I hit cloud base twice. So
that must have been a really good day. Clouds popping.
I was getting it kicked.
And when you guys launched, were you watching? Obviously, you're waiting for other guys to launch so you can see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Rowdy,
Yeah.
taking collapses and weird stuff happening.
I probably took 30 collapses.
But just tips and.
Yeah, mostly tips, little asymmetrics. I took one leaving. So the thing was, you guys are new. The ones that were new, don't go over this rock until you're like 1,000 feet over it, because it's really rowdy right here. Well, I said, crap, I got to get up in the air. I got it. So I go cruising over top of that, and I thought there was somebody above me with a big rope and just yanking me. And my feet are flailing, going everywhere. And I'm just
It sounds like Thumper.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not scared, but I'm like, this stuff I don't do in paramotor. You go for after the calm air. And as you know, with your harness, with your power seat versus your pod, like that movement's so different from here to, it's crazy, but it was freaking amazing. So I'm ready to do it again. That's for sure.
Will Fly donated $5 to the super chat, said Resurgence PPG rocks. Thanks, Will Fly. Appreciate that. When you launched, oh, by the way, I want to mention John Outside said he's coming back in. He's getting back into the sport after 4 years. Glad you're back, bro. Shocker, bro.
For sure.
So when it comes down to business, are you thinking you love free flying now? Or is this, is this a bad relationship kind of thing where it's like that girl that you shouldn't be dating? And
no, dude, after like that second day when I hit cloud base twice. So the first time I got there by myself, finding or just kind of chasing down guys with really really skinny wings that had numbers on them. They were comp guys. I'm following them and getting up there. Raphael found me after he was miles away, and he's like, okay, do what you're doing. And I'm listening to the radio. I didn't touch my radio. I didn't take my hands off my brakes for an hour. I was that like tense, and like I was sore that next day because I was just like micromanaging every little thing. But it was great. He came over top of me and he's talking me through it, saying, no, dude, just do this, let go of this, shift over here, do everything. And I was about eye level with the peak of the mountain. And I'm looking up, watching him, looking around. In 10 minutes later, I was like 4,000 feet above the mountain. I looked down, I'm like, whoa, how'd that get way down there?
Yeah.
And we're back at cloud base. And I turned out of the thermal. He's like, no, get back in the thermal. And I just put my thumb up and I was like, I'm out. That was good enough for me, dude. That was good. I'm done. I'm done for today.
So funny, dude.
Yeah. So I cruised on down, landed at the LZ right in front of the fair. And
so he's telling you, come back
in, don't leave. So I did get back in one time, and we got above the clouds, right in them. And then I was like, that's it. That was my goal for today. I hit it. I'm good.
I went down.
I'm good. And then it took me like an hour to get down.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to go land at the LZ. Oh, wait, I don't want that thermal, but I'm in it. You're working so hard for it. And then you leave to go land. And then, here's another one that you just, it's crazy. One day I was coming down and I had big ears pulled on speed bar in a spiral, and I was going up.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. I was like, well, the birds want me to fly with them some more. But
dude, I'm telling you, when you, for some reason, that moment when you want to get down, you're like, it happens to me every once in a while when I have to take a leak, and I'm
Great.
like, gosh, I gotta get down. I'm about to pee my pants, and I'll start whipping some big wing overs, and then I'll come out of it, and it'll be like, and just keep going. I'm like, oh man, come on. I was trying to
Yes.
get down.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
the good thing was you had someone with you that knew what was up.
There
Did
was,
you guys go cross country? Do you guys bounce around a little bit?
we did. Yeah. One of the guys, the name is, Wagner. I think it's Campos, maybe. He had a record, last year. It was like 500 some odd kilometer cross country. And it
What?
just got beat by somebody that did a 600. Yeah. So he was one of our
Gosh.
guides. And then Jan was another one, really good kid. And then
Raphael.
Raphael. Yep. And Marilia. Yeah, they were great.
And she's a pilot too, or is she
Yeah.
ground sport?
Yeah, she actually I think she got first or second in the competition. I don't know if it was the ladies or if it was a certain division or what it was, but yeah, she took one of the places. But yeah, he
Wow,
taught her
that's cool.
years ago. Yeah. Yep. But
What would you say was your most wild part of that whole flying?
so I've got two of
Fine.
them. They're kind of long stories, and I have diarrhea of the mouth, so I'll just keep talking, but I'll try and make it quick.
It's fine,
All
man.
the bottom of these mountains in Brazil, I don't know if it's the same way everywhere, but there are power lines. Like this
Oh.
dude owns this spot, and he runs a power line out to the street, and they're everywhere, and you can't see them and it's like a single liner or maybe a two liner, and they're everywhere. So if you're not watching out for them, and they span from this top to this top, so if you think you're going to get under, there happens to be a power line. Well,
Oh.
this was in Castello, and the same thing happened. Don't go over that rock right away because it will trash you. I mean, it'll just kick the crap out of you. So what do? I go over top of it because I want to get up, and it's just like somebody's punching me from underneath. Bam, bam. So we get, I don't know, 10 miles away, and I start coming back, and I start sinking. And I'm about 400 foot off. There's like a 400 foot pasture with cows. Below that is the 400 feet with all power lines. So I don't want to land down there. I don't want to land up here because I've got a 400 foot drop that I have to hike down to get out, and then, get rescued on top of that. So I keep getting this ridge lift, and I get up and I circle back and get up. So I want to get back over to the black rock so I can get lift off of that. But I just was too low. Every time I go over there's trees. So I had to come back to the ridge back and forth. Finally, I got to this face, and I didn't realize how close that you can get to these faces. And I was 4 feet away from the edge, and it just ripped me up in the air. And like the contour of that edge, it was just like straight up.
Oh, wow.
And it took me about 45 minutes to be back up and comfortable.
How close to that ridge were you?
The edge of the rock,
Yeah.
my
pretty
wing
close.
was probably 4 foot.
Oh. So
Yeah.
it was probably pretty light then.
No, it was yanking me pretty hard.
I mean, as far as the daytime, it was towards the end of the day.
I'd say 3 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
It was pulling me, but I was trying to get up as hard as possible. I needed to get up high enough so I could start booking it back to the city.
Wow.
And I got up to 5,000 feet, and I turned, and I never knew what Cloud Base was or what Cloud Street was. I thought it was just a winch that somebody made. And I look, and I'm like, oh, Cloud Street, I get it. And it was like a perfect path all the way back to the city. And it was like beep, 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 and just hitting it all the way. And then got back into town. Couldn't get on the ground. Buzzards are flying everywhere. I'm like, it's too hot now. Yeah.
Oh, wow. What time were you guys launching, by the way?
Around noon.
Wow.
Noon or 1.
You see anybody get plucked off a launch? And
I didn't see
Thrown
anybody get plucked off a launch. No.
that's good.
I just saw some people go in the trees down low.
When you say
Yeah.
down low, are you talking like just off of the launch?
Just off a launch, like maybe like a 20-foot grassy area, and then the trees that are below that. Yeah. And it was like, oh, you could see the wing, and then it dives forward.
If did you have to like fill out any paperwork to launch from these spots or pay anybody like America, we have to pay for some membership?
There were waivers. We signed some things, and I believe it was all through the organizer, the Rumos fly trip or whatever.
Okay.
That he has a few of them every year.
But as far as like, you didn't have to prove your flying abilities to be able to.
They asked for our USPPA numbers.
Really?
And I guess I just saw it in the newest paramotor book that there is a, yeah, they said it was fine, and they had a number for me, and they put it on there. So
Wow.
I think the only thing we had to pay for was taking the bus on a 2-hour bus ride up through the windy mountains. And
2 hours?
2 hours it took us to get up to the top of Costello. Yeah.
My
A giant,
word.
like a bus, like a bus.
So you got to start pretty early in the morning to get on a bus and go 2 hours up the mountain.
We'd get there at 8:30, get on the bus, and then they'd take us up.
Whose idea was this?
So Raphael is the importer for BGD.
Okay.
Scott and Steve, they're BG importers for here. So we all hang out and like, hey, that sounds fun. Let's do it. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane. I do want to do one of these trips. That's why I'm asking so many questions. So
it was like, I don't know, I've come out to San Diego. I never saw, I saw Torrey, but I didn't see Blossom. I'd like to know how this place compared to, like the Point or Blossom or El Cap.
Oh yeah. No, like Brazil's like, that's big boy flying.
Yeah. Well, I was not a big boy.
What were you launching from? What altitude? This 2-hour drive up a mountain sounds pretty high up.
1,000 meters. That took us about
3,000 feet.
20 minutes, but we were in little Fiats. But I bet it would still take damn near an hour to get up in a car, because it was, you had to go zigzag up, and then you had to go down on the bottom of the other side and zigzag up. In Costello, I've got a picture of it. I can try to find it, but there's a spot where you may have seen it somewhere. There's a square cutout in this thing, and the wingsuiters jump out of it, out of the mountain. And they wingsuit. Yeah. There was
it's like a hole in the mountain, and they shoot through the hole. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I don't know if it's
yes. I have heard of this.
I don't know if it's if it's a hole that they cut out, or if it's a
natural,
like just where trees have overgrown and they did that kind of thing. I know I've got a picture because I wanted to.
While you're pulling that up, Sean, let's let it rip with the spinning of the wheel. We're going to give away another one of those retractable keychain deals.
All righty. So here we go.
You don't need me to be here. I'm going to be right back.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice, because I'm going to start sharing my screen.
Yeah, you should be able to share your screen. I'll be right back.
All right. And I guess I'm going to be spinning this wheel while Robert's going to be gone, right, Gringo? Are you there with us, Gringo? I don't hear Gringo.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Are you ready?
What do you got? Let it rip.
All right.
How many we got in the chat right now? How many are watching?
We got 54 entries in here, so there has to be at least 54.
I think Craig Couch is in there twice, so might as well take that the first one.
This one here. You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was pretty adamant about getting me in there only once. I try to make it fair for everybody. Now, up until it was time for me to spin this, I have everybody's name in. So here we go. I'm spinning now.
Let her rip. Josh, are you pulling up some of the sites? Maybe you can Google the Brazil spot on a map or something and kind of zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I know I've got a couple on my I've never hooked my phone up to my computer to look, but I know they're on here.
All right.
Yeah, I'll find.
It's me. It's me. See, it's Diamond.
Oh,
It's me.
Ryan Richards needs to
Here
leave.
it comes.
There's a lot of Nebraska people in here.
Here it comes.
Yeah,
Need
you've
to get
got
rid of
some.
all them.
You've got some people trolling for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, you can't take them anywhere.
One of the twins asked
Yankee.
earlier. He asked, "What was the weirdest thing that you and Steve did?" Or something like that. What is the weirdest thing that you
Dude.
did on the trip?
That guy, him and I, like,
Yankee Paramotor, congratulations!
I don't know.
Congratulations, Yankee Paramotor. You won the
Yeah.
phone thingy.
Todd messaged me on whatever, or just text me. I think you have my phone number. Oh, look at Resurgence. PPG said, "Add me to the wheel." You are too late. Shows up at the half-hour mark.
And yeah,
That is so funny.
he's gonna sign off in 1 minute.
Yeah, now he's like, "Oh, I missed it. I'm out." Oh no,
This is we hadn't even left Chicago yet.
Steve. There it is.
There it
There's your
is.
answer
It's-
shown.
Yeah, it's funny too because he's like, "It's ringing." I said, "It says in case of emergency, please pick up the phone." So
It's ringing.
we quickly left that area.
Oh my
What were you
gosh.
doing in the bathroom with him? I mean,
I said
mean,
it's
did
a
he
family
call you
bathroom.
in?
It's a family bathroom. You can just go in. It's fine.
Hot Buttered Steve donated $20 to the super chat. He said, "This message is brought to you by Nebraska Paramotor." Nebraska Paramotor. People are usually shocked when they find out I'm not a very good electrician.
Huh.
Well played.
I don't know what that means.
Well played. That's pretty good.
It's good.
I like it. They're shocked.
So I don't.
Yeah, look at
see-
that, dude. That's like a different world.
What do you? I guess are you? Can you see my mouse moving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's really clear.
oh, cool. This little, see that little square?
No way.
That's where the wingsuiters jump out.
Wow. Super sketch.
Right.
And where are they landing?
And then where do they land? Yeah.
So it looked like over here, I guess wherever they can, right? But and then
What's the name of that city again?
This was Costello.
I'm just gonna make some notes.
Yeah.
Check that spot out.
So the launch is actually on the back side of this one,
Monte Costello.
and there's
Okay.
a waterfall up here that we went to see. But these guys right here is Wagner, and then this is Marilia, that's Raphael, and that's Jan. Everybody's so friendly that we would just pull up to somebody's house and they'd say, "Hey, you guys open?" And they're like, "Sure, go ahead and swim in our pool," or "Here's a deck of cards, and here's some beers," and they just open their house to you, and
So they were like really para friendly then.
super friendly. Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, dude, they must have been getting some serious rain. Look at that river.
Yeah, he said for like the last 3 weeks before we got there, it was straight rain. The roads were all washed out. It was rough.
Wow. But that looked like a good day to fly. My goodness.
Yeah, this is Governor Valadares, and right here is the launch, right around here. And then this was the fairground where you landed. So you could get there to here pretty easily, but this rock would just boil. And that's the one he's like, don't go above that till you got some good altitude, because you don't want to get tossed around too much. And then that third day I was like, I need to get up in the air. And yeah, it was a lot of movement.
Wow.
And the tarantula is just hanging out on the street.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. So
Did you pick it up?
No.
I got a recipe for that.
You don't eat tarantulas.
Yeah. God.
See, when Josh was saying like he took a bus for 2 hours, I was thinking of like a Volkswagen bus, like you see on movies all the time. And they got like kids hanging off the top of it and everything, maybe a donkey walking behind it or something like that. I'm just kind of picturing this in my mind. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just picturing this in my mind, like a 2 hour drive.
Yeah. Mark Rogers says it looks like Jurassic World. It does, dude. I bet you that's where they filmed it.
If there is a place, they call it Jurassic Park, and I don't know if it's relevant to the movie or what, but it did have, I called it Jurassic Park. Let me get this one for you. This was Honkus. And
what?
That was the ramp. Yeah. I wish if I can get these ones off my phone, I can just cycle through them because it was stellar.
Honkus?
I think it's Pancas. Yeah, there's just a little town right here in the valley of these mountains, and you take off, and right here, that little spot is a landing. And there's a windsock, and everybody just.
That's not the one that you couldn't make it to, is it?
No, that was fine. It sucked because I flew this twice and I could not catch any thermals. So there were 2 sled rides in one day, and I really wanted to fly. I mean, look at all this lift potential, I should have been able to find it anywhere, and I couldn't.
Sometimes those days are not like you think. Like we have one of those today, and I don't think it was like you have to look at lapse rate and a couple other little things before you. Oh my gosh. Oh, so that's a hang glider launch too then.
And dude, that's only like 6 foot wide.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one was really weird. I don't know anything about anything. So I'm thinking this launch is huge. I didn't realize that that's not a good thing, having so much. I've got a video where I took off and I got lifted, but I started to sink, and then I had to tiptoe again. And then I kind of came off the edge, and I was not kicking the trees, but it was close. The trees on right here, they're right off the edge.
Yep.
So again, my inexperience, I guess I should have been closer to the edge on that one. But
Todd wants to know if Scott was there with you. Scott. Was Scott there with
Steve and Scott?
Oh, Scott.
He's going to show some pictures of Scott.
Scott Baxter? Yeah, he's right there. So that's what we drove around in, little toasters.
Awesome.
See, that's kind of what I was envisioning. Yeah.
That's a short bus, Sean.
Right.
Well, yeah. Well, usually in movies it's a Volkswagen or something like that, and the kids are hanging off the side on the top and kicking their feet with the sandals, and like I don't know. I've never been to Brazil before, but seeing the background like that, I'm like, oh yeah, I could totally see a Volkswagen Bug van.
There are a lot of bugs. There are a lot of Beetles and vans. Yeah, for sure. All in really good shape too, like mint.
Wow.
But yeah, this is just some of the stuff that we got to fly, and it was way above my pay grade. Like there's no reason. I mean, they said, no, it'll be fine. We'll do some light stuff for you until you're ready for it. And it was like the bulls, or the wolves, I got thrown in with them, and I'm glad because it took me somewhere where I don't know. It was just awesome.
Todd, Falstad wants to know about the accommodations, like meals and stuff like that. Going with those guys.
First place that we stayed at, they had breakfast and dinner at the hotel every day. They all had breakfast. We went out to eat different restaurants. We cooked at the places. There was all kinds of. It was great, very accommodating. The rooms, they were sometimes just little cottages, sometimes little bathroom sized rooms. Some of them were really nice. It just depends on where you were. And a lot of the places were really, just small cities, small towns, and really old. But there was never a time where I was like, oh, this sucks. It's
How was security? Do you ever feel like any crime or it was unsafe at all or anything like that? It
No.
sounds like you're in small towns, so probably not.
Well, there were people begging, and we'd be in a restaurant, and it'd be on the sidewalk where people could just walk through, and people would say, "Hey, can I have the rest of your food?"
Mm,
Okay, sure, go ahead and have it.
And you gave it to them?
I mean, I ate all my food because I'm a fat kid.
Yeah.
Some people did, yes.
There's always that one chip. Okay, he might have dropped it on the ground. It might have fell on his seat. And he's like, "Oh well, I'll put this on the plate." And somebody's like, "Hey, can I have that last chip?" And he's like, "Well, sure, I guess if you want."
Josh wasn't going to finish it, but once he found out that people outside wanting his food,
Scarfed
it down.
Forget
No.
it.
He licked it.
No. You
I'm
still
so
want this?
full, but I want to finish it.
Travis DuPont, he asked, what's the price compared to the US prices?
4.5 reais to $1, and like a hotel room was $25. I mean, a beer, a Heineken was like $1.50, $2. If you at the one festival, you could get 3 beers for 13 reais and divide that by 3 and then 4.5 and do whatever. But they're like $1.50 and that was like at a festival, so that's
Wow.
the funny thing is the first place we went to eat was an Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah.
So for 3 people that had a decent sized steak, and we each had 2 beers, it was like $80. And so
Did they do it Brazilian style, and
they didn't, but we did go to one of those places and it was amazing. But I will say the Outback Steakhouse down there is the best Outback Steakhouse I've ever had.
Wow.
Really?
It was amazing. Yeah.
Picanha. Oof.
Yeah. The trip was weird because they were on a highway with an accident. So they were 2 hours from picking us up. So he had a driver come get us, and we have backpacks, our bags with our clothes, and then we've got our harnesses with our wings. So he drops us off at a mall and says, "Go to the Outback. This is where you're going to get picked up." So we're walking through a mall with 3 bags at least a piece. And it's a big mall. So we look like a bunch of jackwagons.
Travelers.
Yeah. I'm like, this is rough. But it worked.
But I'm
out.
sure they're used to it. Josh Schoen, he said, are the locals accepting of the paragliders all around?
They loved us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Typically, I would get the impression that they think you have tons of money, so that automatically they want to be nice to you to try to get your favor.
Hold your
Yeah.
wing.
I'm just assuming.
I never noticed. They were just all cool. There were dudes that would come down, and this one guy, he was at the ramp, he was at the official landing, and he was at the the bailout spot. No matter where we were at, he was there. So I don't know if he was a triplet or what, and he'd always come up, and for five reais, which is like $1.10, he'd fold your wing up for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
See,
awesome.
we need that I try to train the boys for my wing. Like at Torrey, they did it a couple times, and then but I got my new wing, and I'm like, no, you're not touching it.
Yeah.
And I just don't trust them to fold my wing.
Right.
They'll screw it up.
I got
They were making money at Torrey. They were actually folding people's wings for tips, and I was like, dude, yeah, awesome.
Oh, your boys were?
Yeah, and I was like, fold my wing, and they were like, yeah, for a tip, and I was like, don't stare at the sun. I pay your bills, boy. Fold my wing, and they wouldn't do it.
Todd, I did not have the chance to get to any of those clubs that I would feel comfortable taking you. But had you been there, we definitely would have found one. So
I saw that question too.
you wanted to
So
avoid it.
would you say that free flying is what you expected?
I had people asking, well, do you like paramotoring better? Do you like free flight better? I'm like, it's not the same. It's completely different. You got a bed sheet over your head, but nothing. I mean, the characteristics are completely different. The way it pitches and yaws and steers, and like it's almost a completely different sport or activity or hobby. It's work rather than, I guess it can be work. It was work on many times. I didn't want to go down. I did not want to go down. And I found a rock the size of a house, and it was 1:00, and it was just, I got my, I got
launched
kicked
you.
around for 45 minutes to go from 150 feet to 4,000 feet, just so I could get to the next spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and
Wow.
just the feel of it alone is so different. You can feel everything. You can feel the lines of what they're doing. Whereas with a motor on your back, it's like you're just sitting there in a lawn chair. You're feeling it all at the lawn chair, but you're not really feeling it like a free flight harness.
Yeah. And I fly a higher hang point rig, so I don't feel it as much in my rig as you would if it was a low hang point with swing arms. So yeah, to see my harness going back and forth and like leaning over, like, oh boy, I don't know oh boy, but it was everything I expected, and I didn't know what to expect. I honestly didn't. I was like, you know what? I'll drive the car if I'm not having fun. I don't have to say yes if I'm intimidated. And the first day I stood up on top of that hill, I was like, I'm out. Let's go.
Sending it. Full send.
Full send. And
obviously you're watching the other guys too. You're like, if they're launching, I'll launch.
Yeah.
You see like a girl launch. You're like, it's a girl launch. I can go.
Yeah. It's like,
you don't want to be up there and be like, I'll drive, and girls are flying off of Xenos.
Crap out of me with Xenos. Yeah. Yeah. Those Xenos, man, I never saw so many.
You're not allowed.
No, they were constantly, tips were just banging. Banging it back and forth.
I've had this conversation with a couple guys, and it's like my wing is right in the middle. So it's got the kind of aggression that I like and forward motion that I like, but it's also got it's on the safety side. When you're flying those two liners, I heard it's a lot of management.
Yeah.
A lot of management. You're always.
A guy locked into a spiral the first day, maybe the second day or the third, whatever. Got locked into a spiral, and when they got to him, his reserve handle was pulled off, but his reserve was never out.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah.
He hit the deck?
Yeah. From like $5,000.
And he didn't survive? Oh no.
Yeah. Locked in spiral, just down. And I guess he had a bad left arm. His reserve was on his left side, and the video that we saw, they were pulling it. I don't know. I guess if you take a tent out of a bag after 2 years, sometimes it's sticky.
Oh.
So maybe that's what it was doing, but he couldn't get the reserve out. The handle was off, but he couldn't get it out. So, and I had just put my reserve in my harness, and the next day at the ramp, I pulled it out and put it back in.
Just to make sure.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Right.
Wow. Super sketch. By the way, I want to mention a couple sponsors. iFly Indiana powered paragliding. If you're interested in flying paramotors, no better place to get proper training than iflyindiana.com. Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. iflyindiana.com is the website. Also, the show is brought to you by Lone Star Paramotor. If you're in the Lone Star state of Texas, you can reach out to Ron Turan and his team for world-class training. Their website is lonestarparamotor.com. Also, the show is brought to you by Torrey Pines Glider Port. If you want to learn how to free fly in the most beautiful place in the United States, reach out to Max Marion or any one of the guys out at Torrey Pines. Torrey Pines Glider Port's website is flytorrey.com. That's FLYTORREY.com. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, so that's super sketch. And was he on a 2-liner, you said?
I would assume he was on a comp wing of some sort, because he was one of the first to go off the ramp. He was up with, and I don't know everything, but yeah, I'm assuming it was a comp glider. He was in the competition. Most of those dudes are flying comp gliders. So
yeah, there's groups of people that step up into those gnarly gliders, and I personally think, somewhere down the road I may fly one, but I don't know that I'll buy one.
Yeah.
I would fly one for fun, I guess. But right now it's like, I thoroughly enjoy my sea glider.
Yeah.
I'm flying the Alpina 4. It's really light,
I
handles
wasn't
business.
tired of that Echo. It was fine. It was good that I had that. But within 3 weeks, I was like, we had a couple BGD bases, base twos, and I was like, I need to fly one of those. It's just the speed and the um, I was ready for it, but I don't see like needing a comp glider ever. Like I'm gonna say that I'm definitely never gonna be a cross country competitive paraglider pilot.
You
But,
never know.
That's true. A month ago, I said I wasn't going to enjoy free flight,
Yeah.
and I definitely did.
I really do. And I'm not trying to be demeaning towards motoring, but I feel like it's chess and checkers, because when you're
It is.
launching in the morning, you just throw a motor on your back and you're like, okay, which way's the wind blowing and
Yeah.
how hard is it blowing?
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm going to go send it. You might look to see if there's a possible gust front at 10 o'clock when you're going to be landing. But with free flying, gosh, there's so much good. That's why I'm so intrigued about going to Brazil, a third world country, to go and
No,
hit
dude,
the
they're not
send
third
button.
world at all.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
Out of the country.
And a lot of people would probably take offense to that. I probably would have taken offense to that a month ago, but it's true. I mean, we can just squeeze the throttle and go.
Yeah.
Wherever we want. And you can do that off a hill if you just want to get to the bottom. But if you want to go somewhere, you can't just go from here to there. The 116 mile from the hotel to the ramp was 16 miles. And I think we did like 40 miles just to get back to the airport, because we're going from here to that thermal to this thermal, and we're 10 miles away before we can even find the path going back there. So I have a huge respect for free flight now. I mean,
and picking the weather and the day, and like, obviously you can talk to the locals and get pretty much all the information you need instantaneously. But I would probably go nuts the day before, like checking the weather, making sure that the wind direction is going to be good. We're putting a bunch of money on the line to be able to go and.
Yeah, I left it up to them, and it was every single day. It was good every single day.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do a overseas or out of the country flying trip, try to sign up with some group that can. What do they call it? A guide or an escort or whatever.
Guide, it's called a Rumos fly trip, and there were 10 of us, and there were 2 rescue cars. So if you landed out over here after a cross country, they'd come get you. We wore our spots. We had WhatsApp, share a live location. One time I waited for an hour, but sometimes I didn't have my wing packed up before a car zipped up next to me.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome. It was great.
And everybody's going to want to know what are you having to put down for a trip like that?
$2,000, I think.
$2,000, and that covers that ground support. And I'm sure you're still throwing tips to them, and then that doesn't cover your food either, right?
That covered the hotel, the transportation. Didn't cover airfare, hotel, transportation, and a lot of the food.
Wow.
But I mean, to do it yourself, you can just spend more than that.
Yeah, I would not want to try to do that alone.
Yeah, sometimes we had 3 drivers. Wagner, he just like, we did a sled ride, Steve and I, and we get a ride back up, and we're like, hey, Wagner, where's the lift at? He comes on the radio and he's like, everywhere. He's up at like 4,000.
He's like, you suck.
Yeah, he's like, you guys are awful. He's flying a BGD Cure. He rips down top lands and he's like, you ready yet? And all right, go ahead. So he goes and he peels off to show us where it is, and bam, right off the ramp, he's just gone. And so we take off and we go over this way, and bam, we're up at Cloud Base. And then we go, and I lose them, and they're way over there, and I'm down here, and they're way over there, and I'm down here. And that's where I found that little black rock the size of a house. And I worked that thing for 45 minutes just to get up high enough. It was, I've got so many good stories about it. It's cool.
And did you have a GoPro on your head?
I had a GoPro in my wing
In your
facing
wing.
down.
Oh, nice.
And then I had my 360 camera. So
Oh, that's rad.
and now there's going to be a comment in the chat about it was probably dead. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, wait.
Come on. Come on. No, they were charged and I had 3 batteries. My GoPros never died.
Did you so you got some good footage?
Yeah.
Do you even have a YouTube channel?
What?
I was just wondering.
What is that? YouTube? What's a YouTube's?
What's a YouTube?
What's a YouTube's?
What's that?
Yeah. I mean, I have it
Are you
and
gonna post some videos or what?
I am. I'm going to do better this year with school and everything. I just am really crappy at it. We have a new building this year. So I'm going to have capability at the field to be able to sit there and throw it together. That memory was not full. One time it was, but I brought 4 memory cards, Jordan. Yeah, the stuff I have to deal with.
I was just gonna mention Hot Buttered Steve
Oh, wait.
donated $10 to the super chat.
Yeah, well, he's nice, but I forgot I have this wrench next to my name, and I could can I just kick Nebraska people out of here?
You could put him in a 300-second timeout.
Yeah, timeout for
But you only got
Justin
4 minutes
Shane,
left in the show.
Jordan Shane out.
I have a paying customer that is saying, question for the guest, aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper?
I've never heard that before.
But that is a legit question.
Right, but stormtroopers were like 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah.
So, and Mark Hamill was like 5'8". So no, that wasn't even a legit.
So you're tall to be a stormtrooper.
I'm super tall in general. Yep.
Literally 5'9". We're exactly the same height.
It's because I wear tall boots.
The Kim Jong-uns.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah,
I've got
that's
these
amazing.
pictures and they won't pull up because my format is weird.
You just put it on your phone. Oh my gosh.
Put what on my phone?
You just hold your phone up.
I guess. I
Thank
can
you.
do that. Let's see
Thank
how
you.
that works. But I've
Kind
got a
sir,
full
that
one
looks
back.
amazing.
Robert always tells his kids, make sure you bring it 3 minutes before the end of the show.
They-
I want these people to see that I've got my boys working for me.
Justin Schoen said, Josh is very technically challenged. He barely knows how to open the internet.
It's more of the lack of interest and frustration of making that all happen.
The 360 cams, especially the GoPro version of the 360 cam, I've heard gets pretty technical.
This one.
I use this little guy. I have a Rilo, and this was
Rilo.
very cheap. And actually, I'm probably going to sell this at some point because I want to get the GoPro's version of the 360 because it's got some really good
it
footage.
sounds. I thought that too, but my buddy Evan at Salton, you probably met him. He had a few Insta 360.
Insta 360, yeah.
And that's what I end up buying. And
Okay.
it's like cake.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
that's the ticket?
then I changed the setting and I have it sitting here and that's my webcam right now because it just
Oh,
seems
really?
better. Yeah. And so far, yeah, I like it a lot. I've never had good luck with GoPros. I don't know.
Yeah, me
I've got
neither.
like 7 of them. They're all dead.
You know
There's
what?
like a ton of versions of those, you know.
I
Yeah.
really
360s, like a R or a RST, or what version of Insta 360?
I've got the latest one, the 1X, the X12 Elemental P.
I would really like if someone knows GoPro people that work at GoPro, because there used to be somebody that watched the show that worked for GoPro, but he doesn't work there anymore. But I'm really disappointed with GoPro, especially in the last couple editions, because they like switched everything from one side to the other. So I had already chopped up my helmet for my cord to be able to come out nice and clean, and all of a sudden I go to put my deal on there wrong side. I drill another hole when I switched to this one. And then I just heard recently that they did something else now, that the connection point changed again or something for the 10. So it's
Yeah.
like, I was going to buy the next edition. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing that.
Not today, bro.
Not today, Satan.
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous. Why would you switch that stuff up? But anyways, that's fine. Everything is fine. By the way, Resurgence PPG is a sponsor of this show. And if you're interested in supporting our men and women of uniform, you can make a tax-deductible donation to resurgencepppg.com because they are a 501c3. And by donating, you're sponsoring those who put their lives on the line for your freedom. You can reach out to Todd Scandrett at resurgencepppg.com.
And he's an amazing big spoon.
And yeah, he will keep you warm at night if it's cold out.
Yeah.
Yep. Todd Scandrett, amazing human being. We're going to go to the after show. Josh, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, man.
I was really just interested in how your trip went. I know there wasn't a whole lot of learning. This is more just me being curious, and we can do that if we want to.
It's okay.
Paragliding talk.
It's all about you. No big deal. No big deal.
It's my show, right?
It's your
I'm
show.
doing what I want.
Do what I
Well, it's
want.
kind of Sean's too, and Gringo's, I guess.
Gotcha.
I was just curious at what Model S to 360 that was, like,
Yeah, is there
I
different
don't know.
versions?
I don't know what the newest version is. So I'm
It's-
like, eh.
Let me pull it up. I would just show it to you, but I decided to plug it in and use it today.
You're literally using it.
Literally. Yeah.
Literally.
Literally using it.
Literally.
I will. It's the Insta.
Tori Pope, thank you. Normally, log off by now. Thank you. Hey, look who's in the Harley Milnes in the chat. What's up?
Yeah, he's been in
50x
there for a
challenge. Mark Rogers, thanks. Good night. You guys are welcome to come on the after show if you want to join us. Just say you want to come on the after show. I'll send you some. Send out some.
You're welcome, Jordan.
Some after show links. Really appreciate everybody, by the way, that's been supporting. I know it's not the most popular thing to do when the sun is still technically kind of out and you could be flying or doing something else if you're watching the show. Appreciate that. All right, we're going to the after show. Gringo, what do you got to say?
Awesome. It's cold outside, but should have flew.
Oh, it snowed here last night. So,
Oh,
yeah.
you
It's
come back to
getting
San
ready to
Diego
rain.
already?
Yeah, it was 70 degrees the other day and it snowed last night. So,
It's getting
yes,
ready
it's
to
a
rain
1X2,
and start
Sean.
switching.
Big
No, it's
winter.
Insta
1X2?
360 1X2.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh, because that
So-
helps me out a lot.
I looked it up and then Will Fly posted it too. So,
All right.
yeah.
Well, thanks everybody. Really appreciate everybody watching. And if I don't see you on the air, I'll see you in there. We'll see you next week. We'll have a great time.